Hello guys, a warm welcome back to the Forensic Detailing channel or Unplugged channel. Servicing your IK pump sprayer. This is a IK foam 1.5 and I've got an IK sprayer 2 and an IK foamer 2. I think the 2s are probably the ones to go for actually, from what I've seen. Now, I was using this tool the other day with the Hyperfoam and as I pump up the thing, it's leaking air back through here and losing pressure, okay, which is a very common problem. I think the more you use these, and every now and then you gotta just have a look at them and service them. So the main thing I think to understand with this is when you pump it, the piston there has a seal ring around it which pushes air down down here, and it goes through a little kind of valve which isn't like the best valve, but it pushes air through there and that forms some sort of valve, and then the air comes back up this cylinder tube and then I think comes out here. It's channeled, I think. The main thing here is threaded into the base of the unit. That's threaded in, and there's a seal. Let's just show you the seal. There's a seal there on it. So check that seal and clean up any rubbish around there. This seal ring there looks good, and check the seal here. Make sure that seal hasn't torn, and I'm sure you could probably replace that. It's just like a standard sort of O-ring that you could replace on it. And make sure your valve there is all clear. You can see there's a bit of slimy rubbish in there as things degrade, but those seals to me look good. So the first thing I did was just clear out a little bit of the rubbish around those seals, and then when you put this back in, screw this in quite tight, because if it's not tight you're going to get you're going to get loss of pressure. So clean all that up, make sure those seals are good, replace any seals, screw that in nice and tight so it's all good. And then when you're pumping, you should just hear that gives you a seal there against air coming back. So that seal is really important. Yes, that's an important seal. Okay, so that is that, and then make sure you put that back on. It's all clean and good, and it mounts right in up to the top, and the air gets through just through a little gap there. Make sure your filter on the bottom is clear. You can take that pipe off and just clear it all out. Get a little brush and clear out any mess that's in there. Okay, so that's the first thing. So that's all good now. The second thing is periodically unscrew this. You can take the whole thing off, actually, might be easier. Unscrew this. Make sure it's all clear in there, it will be. Then take this off. And then inside there is, hopefully you can see this. Hold on, I just need to get the right tooling. Hold on, ah, Jesus. Hold on, we'll do it over here. We'll do it over here. Let's just set this up so you can see all this. So we got that. You get with them a load of these. So it's replacing the filter. So if we take, I need to see what you're seeing. If we take this, in there is a bar that you can just about see in the middle there. That allows you to pull on this. Oh. How does that come out? I think I've pushed it in. There's a seal ring there. You want to check that seal ring is not perished, not torn, and is all solid. And then inside there is the plastic canister, and in that plastic canister is a filter. So let's just hold on a second. We'll push that filter out, and you can see those filters pick up a lot of the residues They go like a snooker cue tip. I've had that silly blue dye in there as well. That probably doesn't help. That filter is tough and hard, and that means that it's not releasing pressure so much as well, which is going to just affect the whole thing from working. So every now and then you should replace these. So we'll take a fresh tip and we'll put that in there. We'll make sure that's all clean. It's looking good. And just make sure that's seated in there properly so it slots in. And that's all good. And we put our seal ring back round there, and then that goes back into there like so. And then that sits in there. Oh, you can push that down too much, which is interesting. I wonder. That's a bit strange. Oh, you can push that too far in. That is a bit strange, that. It doesn't seem to... I guess it doesn't matter where it sits. Does that get forced in by this? Yeah, probably. Oh, I see. I see. So I think the way to do it is push that into there, and then it's going to sit in the correct place. It's not going to recess in there. And then put your seal back on over the top. Hold on a second. Where does that seal go? That seal sits in there. Where does that seal? Oh, that seal's got to sit between the two. So that seal goes around there, and that just mates into that. That's interesting the way that's done. That's what holds that. Otherwise that's going to sink into there. That would be a problem if that does that. So I just want that to bite. Strange design, the way that goes further down into that. That is a strange design. It must... Oh, I see the seal. Oh, this. That's interesting though. No, it must just. So it must be the seal ring that holds it in position there, like that. So if you then put that back on, put that back on, and then that in there. It's just weird the way there's a gap between that white thing and that can fall into there. That I don't doubt it's a problem, but just be aware of it. It's not going to move now. Or maybe it does. Maybe when it's all screwed in, it all fits up properly. That's good. That's good. And then if we just bring this back out, just want to make sure we align this properly. So normally that's going to be poorly aligned. So yeah, you just torque that up and undo that. And then tighten that, hold it there with your fingers, and just as it gets to the bite point, it will rotate a little bit. A second, let's get that aligned. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's not what I said. It's just a little bit fiddly to get that position right. So if we just tighten that to the point it's finger tight, and then as we roll, yeah, that should be about right now. So that sits vertical, and it shouldn't leak there. Now, hopefully, when we pump up, our unit shouldn't be leaking. Feels good. Yeah, so it was backing out before. I think it all just probably worked its way loose. That should now. Yeah, much better. Yeah, we're back. So The unit has been repaired. So this, I think, for what I've seen, it's the most common things with these. Every now and then they need a little servicing. And if you're pumping and getting vapour coming back out, check everything that I've checked. Everything should be replaceable on here. The only catastrophic failure I've ever seen of one of these, I've seen them leak loads of times, but generally if you tighten things up, you're okay. I've just seen these shear off if you drop them a couple of times. That's the only failure point on these. Other than that, if you drop them, they're pretty sturdy. The only other design thing is these are can be really difficult to release when they're all wet and slidey. It's so hard to get your fingers around that. That could be just a better design there. It needs to seal well, but I don't know, even some sort of big loop where you can just get your thumb in it and go rather than having to pinch it would be a slightly better design. Apart from that, the design and form of these are pretty good, and they are quite handy, but just much handier in a sprayer format than the foamer, but people tend to like the foaming ones. So there you go, that's just maintaining your IK thing. If you just maintain it, try not to drop it, clear it out, definitely change those filters periodically, and keep the unit flowing well and keep it serviced. And after you've had it for maybe 5 or 6 years, depending on what you store in there, maybe look at those seal rings and replace them as required. Apart from that, there's not much else on them to really service and maintain. They're quite simple. They're okay. They're all right. Thanks for watching.